Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. MVP here, and I just wanted to give you a very quick update on how the week went for traders, forex traders, trading the G8, the 8 major currencies this week, and going to try and make this a regular update. But let's talk through the week using one of my FX correlator, more bespoke indicators actually in front of you, and I'm just going to share with you, go through day by day. And first of all, let me just talk about what you see in front of you on this chart. Okay, those of you familiar with the FX correlator indicator, this is a customized version, and what I'm able to do on this is I'm able to, across here on the left, zeroize all of the indexes and make them zero. So what you're looking at here is much more of a kind of real-time version. There's no skewing on this. We're not using moving averages here. This is actual price moves of each index, each of the 8 indexes. So it gives you much more of an idea of what the market's doing. Okay, and I use these kind of versions across all my time frames, my scalping. It's not the basic FX correlator, sorry, I'm not offering this for free online, but it's just one of the things. You can get any programmer to do this quite easily. So let's take Monday. You can see here actually through the week, this is all 5 days this week. The white lines you see here, there's 5 of them, that indicates each of the weeks. So starting over here on the left, we have Monday all the way through to Friday. And at the bottom here, this is on a 1-hour chart. No, actually it's a 5-minute, sorry about that. Some of the times you see at the bottom here, these are actually all GMT -1, so you need to add an hour to these guys. And last but not least, if I simply show you, if you can see this on here, we have some red dotted lines, and they're starting around 5 o'clock in the morning, each of the mornings of the week, which actually is 6 o'clock GMT, and that represents when I start what I call my London session open. Okay, so anything to the right of each of the dotted lines, you're into London session, and that's when I'll be scalping normally for a couple of hours. If you see the blue lines here, that's around 1 o'clock, and that's when the US opens up, get that morning action. Okay, and obviously between the white dotted line, which is midnight technically GMT, and London, I mean, this is, you know, mid to early Asian, coming through the Asian session. Okay, so just wanted to flag that up to people. So let's quickly just go through each of these day by day and just see where the opportunities were. Okay, let's start here over here on the left. Let's start with the Asian. Okay, Asian there, if you can see that. Not much going on Asian. We had a good early Asian Monday. The yellow yen got big, up to about 100 pips. Remember, that isn't the pair, the yen, that is actually the yen. The yen went up 100 pips Asian, which means that if you were trading it against a decent currency that you were selling, you were making a lot more than 100 pips. Okay, guys, and it was followed up by the green euro dollar. Clearly we were in a situation where, because of Brexit, one calls it a flight to a fear flight, or flight for safety, carry trade. People were looking really aggressively to buy into the USD and the yen early on this week. You can see it actually went all the way through the morning and afternoon session of Monday. The green euro and the yellow yen very much in demand. So again, if you go through some of my threads and my updates, I was buying those guys when I was able to trade. Okay, so that was how it went through the day. You can see here very clearly, this is red, this is sterling. Sterling got hammered on Monday morning, which obviously was a resumption of the hammering it got on the Brexit vote on Friday. Down here we're coming down to over 200 pip sell-offs, guys. So, you know, if you're selling the sterling through London, you see this was the London session, you're selling sterling through London, and you were buying yen, you were, I mean, basically buying anything else, you were into the 200 pip runs. Okay, so again, there was some good money there. Okay, into the US, you see sterling came back, it started to fight back a bit. So gradually, as a scalper, you would be looking to buy into this. You'd ignore this. You'd assume that there would at some point be another sell-off, but as scalpers and you're going intraday, you're going into the 1-minute charts, you'll be looking to buy into this. Okay, so it came back all through the session into Asian actually. And up here again, we saw that gradually the yen and the US dollar were tailing off. People were closing out trades, they were coming out, they were taking their profits. Okay, so that was Monday. Tuesday, which is really this range, let's go to Asian. Asian goes there, London goes here, and we'll put US here. Okay, guys, and let's have a look. So when I came in London, I tended to ignore some of this. I saw what was going on through the Asian, and here generally London was quite a mixed bag for sterling. You can see that it came off low and then it fought its way back up. So gradually I would have been buying into London later on in the session. Up here, you're not really getting that much range here. Most of these guys are not moving more than about 20-30 pips. Remember, this is the 100 pip point here. This is the 0. So it really, nothing really, these guys were still strong from Monday. Yes, there's a little bit, but really, again, it's still probably the volatile sterling where a lot of the trades were going on. A bit of a sell-off there on the Swissy. Nothing to write home about. Okay, into US. Sterling came off dramatically. It was generally a sell-off in the US Open Tuesday for sterling. So again, selling again the Swissy. We had a little bit of a pushback. US dollar really had a good start to Tuesday in the US Open session, but again came off. And as you can see here, euro, a lot of gains. Euro had a lot of gains Monday, held strong through London Asian and did very well. So Tuesday was a very good session for euro. No complaints there from people buying into the euro, that's for sure. Okay, let's come to Wednesday. Now, Wednesday is always an interesting day of the week. It represents clearly the middle of the week, and by now, you're starting to get an idea of what's going on through the early part of the week, the first 2 days, getting an understanding. And if you are stepping back a little, and if you're not trading, if you're more swing trading, you'll be starting to think about where are you now finding some of those key support and resistance points? Where's the pivot points? Where can you try and envisage where you would be buying off of bounces, off of support, off of resistance, and so on. At this stage I wasn't really prepared to make any guesses. I was simply scalping. So again, if I switch across to my Asian session, I switch across to my London session, and I switch this across to US, what was I doing? So Asian Wednesday, again, sterling started to sell off again. Now this was quite an interesting challenge here because clearly traders which saw massive sell-offs over 250 pips on the Monday, they have been waiting long and hard for the next sell-off. And as you can see, there was an attempt here into London Tuesday, attempt here early session US Tuesday. But again, you can see that sterling really is being quite robust. It's fighting back. It's fighting off the 50-80 pip drops and trying to keep buying in. It is trying to get back to opening, really. Remember, this is opening at the start of the week, coming into Asian on the Sunday night. So it really has done really well, has it? It's come back 250 pips here virtually. It's only down to about 50 pips here. But no, into Asian on Wednesday, and it got a hit. Some support levels here, and as I came into London, there was a sell-off here. But can you see here, just out of interest, if you do this, can you see here, this is quite interesting, isn't it, everyone? You see how sterling, there was 3 attempts there to get down into this area and start getting some juicy sell-offs again, but it fought it. And eventually, not only that, early London, it bounced and came flying up, and that's over a 100 pip move into US session. So great buys on Wednesday in the London session for sterling. And again, if you look back at my threads, I will assume that I was buying that. I can't remember, to be honest. Yen starts selling off here. As you can see now, yen has actually hit from the early part of the week. Yen had been successfully strong, carry trades, remember. Now yen is selling, and Wednesday was a bad day for yen. It got sold off, so big buys on sterling. See how sterling went through into US and still kept coming. That's nearly a 200 pip move there, guys. But yen was the dog. Sterling getting Swissy getting hammered, but look at euro, blue euro, still doing very well. CAD's up there joining it, so a good CAD session, US session. And US dollar, after again early wins in the first part of the week, US dollar now struggling, very flat now, flat for the week. You're never going to see the US dollar being as volatile as the yen, but generally I tend to look for those guys to be moving together with some kind of positive correlation. Yeah, they're moving together. So again, yen was actually a very flat. I mean, especially US session Wednesday. If you were buying US dollar pairs, you were really having to make the other currency do the work. You see, you're not getting anything. It's like bouncing a dead cat. You're getting nothing out of that at all, guys. Okay, let's talk Thursday, shall we? I'm going to bring these across again. See, Asian, London, US. Wow, US. I'll bring that there. So Asian session, some selling off there of sterling. So there's an indication again that sterling's starting to come off again. Sterling just can't really. It got above the open for the week there, but again, a lot of pressure here. I mean, obviously with Brexit, there was a lot of news going on through the week. There was political news, there was government instability, there was, I don't know, England losing, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but it wasn't good news coming out of the UK camp, was it, all through the week? So again, I wasn't holding my breath for sterling to do much at the second half of the week, to be honest. In London, so what did I do? Well, yeah, I would have bought it because sterling went up. Again, look at the euro. Euro's had a great week. It is still consistently holding anything up to about 100 pips above Asian Open Sunday night. So, been a very, very strong thing to be buying into whenever you got the opportunities. Dollar popped down a bit in the London session, but again, nothing too much to write home about. Yen was the big sell. So again, I think if you looked at my thread, I got an opportunity. We had a nice sell off for yen there, about 100 pips sell off for yen. I would have gone to possibly the US dollar, although you can see that's following it down. But again, if you're looking up here, buying euro yen would have been a nice buy. London session, that was the dominant play there. Into the US session, yen really bouncing around now, swings up 100 pips there, yen swings up, US dollar comes up. So again, US dollar above the line here, key pivot point there for the week. US dollar back in action. All of these guys strong. Euro holding, that's the Aussie dollar, that's CAD. So all of these guys are good buys into the US session. But as you can see, there was some very bad news there. I can't quite remember what that Thursday news was. I don't know if it was something that the ECB said, or whether that was when Boris dropped. I can't remember. Or was it? I think it might have been Carney. I think Carney gave his indication that he would be doing what he can to affect interest rates. He was going to reduce them potentially, or do whatever it takes. That doesn't usually go down good news, does it, anyone? If you look at in past historically, whenever the US Treasury have given dovish news about the US dollar, and whether Abe and the crew over in the yen sometimes give their emergency announcements when they make something happen and then tell you. Again, the yen can have massive fluctuations, but there's a 200 pip sell off there. I think that was around 4 or 5 p.m. GMT. Big sell-off, and clearly, if you could have caught that. I missed it. I remember I missed it, but I did catch the carry on down, and I picked up about 50 on that. Again, buying into something obvious like the US dollar. So that was quite an exciting Thursday. And again, you can see here, it hasn't got, sterling hasn't got to the levels it achieved in the sell-offs on the 250 pip sell-offs on the Monday, but it's down in the 200s. Painful stuff. These are massive swings, guys. You don't see this usually in the market, and that's why this has been a very good trading week in the market. So last but not least, on a Friday, just to give you a bit of a heads up, normally by Friday now, what most traders are looking for is they're looking for where the big moves have been in the week, what currencies have really made their mark in the week. And clearly, with most traders, getting ready for the weekend and obviously not wanting to carry trades over for the weekend, this is when you can sometimes see some interesting reversals on major currency groups, and where people obviously close out the trades. So if we were looking here at this point where we were, I'll give you an example. The CAD there is probably at 100 pips above the start of the week. Clearly you've got sterling here 200 pips below, and you've got the yen. So in a normal week, if these guys are trended to this point, you would be looking for them to reverse and come back towards the norm, for people to close out their trades. But this is not a normal week. This is not the normal world we're operating in at the moment. We're operating in quite a stressful scenario globally. So what happened? Well, the Asian, did it give any clues? The Asian started selling off sterling. Yen was fighting back positively. USD was as flat as a pancake, and still we have the indomitable euro up nearly 100 pips up on the week, okay, and CAD. So these guys were really rocking. But the message was fairly clear to me, and I think Friday, I sold London through the floor. London came off from about minus 130 on the week down to minus 200. That's a 70 pip sell off there. See, the US dollar, interestingly, the US dollar and actually the yen were correlating with sterling. That's an unusual correlation pattern, guys. You don't tend to see those three working together. So I could have, found opportunities to be scalping GU cable, but obviously with the green US dollar falling, that's not good correlation, is it? What you want to do is you want to be selling a falling currency and buying rising currencies. So the better trades in this scenario would have been looking for the blue euro that held positive, possibly Aussie dollar as well. So quite a tough day to make money there, but I think I did okay, as I recall. Again, some of these moves when they're 30-40 pips, that's more than enough for me to be scalping. Believe me, scalping, I'm only looking for 5-10. Okay, so that's about it. I hope people have found this useful. Have a good week. This is MVB signing off, and we'll talk next week. Cheers. Bye bye.